Hello friends, welcome back to another CueSoc video. Today we bring you our 2019 8-ball Scotch doubles competition. With me is Will. Will, say hello.
Hello guys, so welcome to the video. So this is our Scotch doubles competition for 8-ball.
Oh, and I'm Glanden.
Hello Glanden.
So I just forgot to introduce myself.
So this is our trimester 2 competition, and today we're featuring two very strong teams who fought their way through their brackets with relative ease, I would say.
Yeah. I don't think there were any heel matches or anything like that.
Yeah.
Nothing that went to the decider.
Yeah, so here we have the lag. So we have Harris and Phuc lagging off against each other. So the teams are Harris Dewanta and Jonathan Ng. Harris is a third-year Bachelor of Science and Advanced Studies. He's doing comp sci and philosophy.
Yep.
And he's been playing pool for 3 years, so about when he started uni. And Jonathan is a second year doing actuarial and commerce. And he started about 2 years ago, right around when uni started for him.
Yeah. And right now on the table with you guys is Phuc and Raycole. So Phuc was the bloke who just lagged right there. Very nice guy. Well, also same for everyone. But Raycole is the one who is about to break off right now in the black sweater, black long sleeve. Raycole is fourth year software, studying software engineering, I think, at UNSW. And he's also started playing pool since uni started, so 4 years ago. And Phuc is fourth year mechanical engineering, also at UNSW. Also played for 4 years, basically when uni started for him, so basically when he joined CueSoc.
Yeah.
So while Raycole breaks off here, we can take a look at the draw. So Raycole and Phuc, starting from the first round, had a Wysing and Anita first, and they won that match 4-2. Next proceeded to play Richard and William, won that match 4-1, and they seemed to do even better in the semi-finals by winning their semi-finals 4-0. So now here they are.
Yeah. I think they definitely started with a rocky start, but then definitely played much better throughout the competition, and I think they're hitting their stride now in perfect time for the finals.
100%. And meanwhile, we have Harris and Jonathan. They played Ian and Naditha in the first round, won that 4-0. They won their second round against a very strong pairing, Grant, Leanne, and also Will. Right, who's with me right here. 4-2. They won their third round, also 4-2 against another very strong pairing, Oliver and Vincent. And I would say actually that they did get in stride right after that, because the semi-finals was the hardest opponent yet, which is Kevin Wang and Axel. They are both CueSoc League winners, Axel for 9-ball and Kevin for 8-ball, but they managed to win that 4-0. So that was. So they also seem like they're getting very much in stride. Both teams winning their semi-finals match 4-0. But yeah, so now here we are. Meanwhile, dry break from Raycole with Harris and Jono up on the table. They decided to choose stripes, so really narrow cut on that 10-ball into the middle there, which
not much of the pocket to go off there.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Very much difficult shot than it looks. Now Phuc has some options, but this table does not look the most appealing, I would say.
Yeah, it's not very easy, not at all. I would say the 5-ball is something that's very hard to get to. Oh, actually, no, if they have a good angle on the 4. There we go. Very smart there, getting rid of the problem ball first.
Yeah.
They also have the 1-ball and the 15-ball up on the top. So really interesting to see how they want to deal with that.
Yeah.
How do you usually play pattern play, Will? How do you look at the table and decide which balls to go first and which balls to go last?
So for me, at my current skill level, I can't say that I'm very prolific player.
Pool
but
knowledge-wise. I know you haven't been playing much, but
Pool knowledge-wise, I think you should always go backwards. So you always should figure out which pocket rather you want to hit the 8 into.
Okay.
And then work backwards from there. So what ball would give you position to get onto the 8 to hit it in that pocket, and then you keep working it back from that point.
Right. By the way, what a shot this would be. I think he's trying to get the 2 off the 15. If he can get that. Ooh. That would have been a good way to break out that problem ball.
It would have been very good.
Yeah.
But
anyway, go on.
As of right now, it's still the 15. I think it still blocks the 2 and the 1. So,
it definitely blocks the 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, go on about your pattern play.
Yeah, I think it's very dependent on your skill level. So if you can't figure out an easy way to work backwards, I think you should only look at balls from like 3 or maybe 2 or 3 at a time.
Right.
And that would help you immensely in your pattern play, especially at a beginner level, if you can't work all the way through the entire rack backwards.
Yes,
because sometimes you just can't predict what will happen, and sometimes not everything goes according to plan. So I think
100%.
at least you have an idea of what you want to do. That will help you immensely in improving your game, especially at a beginner level.
Fair enough. Speaking of that though, one of the hardest parts about doubles is actually kind of, we say, syncing up with your partner, especially.
That's very true.
Yeah, especially with slightly higher levels right now.
Yeah.
Where everyone on the table right now, I mean, obviously it's the finals, and everyone on the table right now is very capable of running the whole table, as Harris and John are kind of doing right now. They have a good succession of 3-4 balls.
Yeah.
But I was discussing with actually, it was just with Jonathan and Harris. I was discussing with them about what's the best way to play doubles, and I actually personally think great first rack by Harris and Jonathan, by the way, but I actually personally think it's a lot easier if I just get down and shoot and not really talk to your partner all that much. But at the same time, I feel like it's very necessary to communicate in doubles. What do you reckon, Will?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think both Harris and Jonathan, and conversely Phuc and Raycole, they do sync up very well with each other. I think Harris and Jonathan play together very frequently, and Phuc and Raycole are actually league teammates from the past 2 seasons, so they definitely do know how to play with each other. And I think as much as an accumulation of skill would benefit a team, I think this adjusting to your partner's play is far more critical in these situations. So Harris and Jonathan have taken the early lead, but have scratched on the break and have given up a good opportunity for Raycole and Phuc to catch up.
Yeah, but unfortunate scratch there for Harris, and I think this is what we were just talking about, Will, about really trying to figure out the table, especially for higher level players like everyone here at the final, trying to figure out the table, trying to kind of get on the same page with everything before you even take your first shot.
Yeah,
because
true.
I think as you get as you play more and more, you would want to aim for the highest point, which is to run out the table all at once.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, what would you take here, Will? Solids or stripes? What do you think of this layout?
Since you do have to play the cue ball in the kitchen above the head string.
Oh, that's right, of course. That's right, yeah.
It was a scratch off the break.
Yeah.
You have to. It's very difficult to secure a shot. I think that he did a very good job there with the stripes, but he didn't give him. But Raycole didn't give Phuc
the ideal angle. I think he was trying to give him the 11
at all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he sees any shot here actually, but I think stripes is definitely a better group because you do have the issue with the 3 next to the 8.
Yeah.
And if he had worked a little bit better on that shot, could feasibly be a table that you could run out on, but I think now it's very difficult for Phuc to pot a ball.
100%. One of the hardest parts about pool, I feel actually, is the very, very, very first shot. I don't know why I said very so many times, but the very first shot of when you get back on the table. For example, right now, for Harris and Jonathan.
It definitely sets the tone for the following player.
100%.
It's very important in Scotch doubles specifically because you do alternate shots, and it's important to get into a rhythm with your partner in order for you guys to play effectively. Which is why you saw Raycole and Phuc take so long in their first shot, even though it was a very straightforward.
That's right.
He just shot the ball down the line. He took so long because you want to discuss as much as you can with your partner. And I think the benefit of CueSoc Scotch doubles is that you are able to communicate with your partner.
That's right. There are some tournaments which are not allowed. Exactly.
Yeah. So communication is very key in this competition.
Yeah. Harris and Jonathan are actually also teammates in Diamond League, which is it's a non-CueSoc event. It's a league organized by a pool association over here in Australia.
So they do have
international pool association actually. But.
So they do have experience playing in a team, and as a result, they do play very well together.
100%, and they're just good mates as well. So like they'll muck around when they're just around City Heroes and play some doubles as well. So
Bit of a miscue there. Harris misses the easy shot. He was a bit hampered by having to cue over the 11 ball, which probably forced that error, but he definitely wants that shot back.
Yeah, no, 100%. But it's what happens. I've seen the highest levels miscue like that, so See, Raycole, I think Raycole's trying to check if the 11 passes the 9.
Yeah, and I think it does. That's what he's aiming.
Oh, that was a massive, massive kick. The cue ball definitely, on contact, the cue ball definitely went off track.
Yeah.
So not usually, but sometimes what happens in pool, and often we see this a lot in snooker as well.
Yeah.
As the cue ball gets hit around, moved around, there are chalk marks that stay on the cue ball.
Yeah.
So if you guys play some pool, you'll realize that after maybe like around 2-3 frames, you'll see that there are a lot of chalk marks on the cue ball.
Because even if you try to keep the conditions as perfect as possible, there's so many different variables and there's so many different things that can happen. So that it will alter your shot, and in that situation there could have been a plethora of things that could have affected that shot. For example, the cue ball might be a little bit dirty. There might be like a little bit of grit on the table.
That's right.
And sometimes you aren't going to play in perfect positions, and sometimes you just have to deal with that.
Yeah, 100%. So that 100% what happened just then with Raycole is part of the game. He's not complaining. I mean, it's a bit unlucky, but he's not complaining.
Yeah.
But what happened there, just to explain a little more, was because of the chalk marks on the cue ball, when you do, very unfortunate that if Jonathan had made that shot, that would have potentially been a frame-winning shot, but instead now Phuc and Raycole are back on the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the chalk marks, if the cue ball rolls and the chalk mark just manages to hit the object ball on that exact point where there's that extra bit of friction on the cue ball, it could change the path of the object ball greatly, and no matter how well you aim, if that happens, you're going to miss.
Yeah.
And so that's very, very unlucky there.
That's why if you watch a lot of snooker, the players actually ask the referee to clean the cue ball quite often.
That's right, because of that exact reason.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the snooker, the balls are smaller, so it's far more likely for the kick to happen.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Interesting enough. Oh, what a shot.
Oh, very, very good shot.
I think you can't see the 9. Yeah, no, that's very unlucky. Very hard queuing though. It's already a really good shot making the pot.
Very good effort. But a little bit unlucky there.
On that topic though, did you know, Will, that so for those of you who don't know, Triangle is a billiards brand that they especially specialize in chalks, mainly, just some accessories, equipment and stuff. And apparently I heard that because of that phenomenon of like the kicking and the cue ball getting dirty both in snooker and in pool, Triangle actually has a specific type of chalk that apparently minimizes friction.
Yep.
And it minimizes what they call also like just kind of that little bit of static that comes with the chalk mark being left on the cue ball.
So like it minimizes the fallout of the chalk.
Yeah, something like that. As in like it's specially made to kind of prevent kicks from happening. I was told about this in China by one of the coaches there because I was just at a club, you know, hitting balls around, and I got into a conversation with him. But that was a frame-winning shot for sure. Again, another one that unfortunately was missed. But yeah, apparently Triangle produces chalk that is more expensive but prevents a lot of kicks from happening because it. Well, if I was to make a direct translation, it prevents the static in snooker. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting fact. Don't know if it's true or not, but
that's very interesting because I am aware that Triangle has two lines of chalk. One of their basic stock chalk that pretty much all pool halls use because it's a cheap alternative to just have heaps and heaps of chalk. Yeah. But I do know that they make a higher end product, but I'm not too sure what the specifications there are.
Well, there we go. Maybe that's that. Yeah.
That's what it must be.
Yeah. Ooh, wow. That was a great shot. That was a great shot. Had a fortune favors the brave, right? He went for the breakout. Definitely. He went to bump the four, and then he's rewarded for that. So, a little bit jumpy there from Harris. But no harm done there. Still made the pot, center of the pocket. Really good chance for Jono to close it out and give it a 2-0 lead.
So to give a bit of background on these players as well, they're all very very close. So everyone here who was playing in this match, they're all very experienced in playing competitions.
That's right. Harris just won the 8-ball comp.
Yeah. So Harris won the most recent 8-ball competition.
Oh, what a shot. Oh, is he going to bump the 8? Oh, that's unlucky. That's very, very unlucky. That was a right shot to play. Either that, or he had to go to the right rail, to the left rail, so 2 rail. We call that 2 rails back and forth.
That's true.
Which would have been considerably harder of a shot, but that it would have avoided a situation like that from happening.
Yeah. Just a little bit too much Q power on that shot.
That's right.
And he would have landed perfectly.
Honestly, he just needed a little more or a little less.
Yeah.
But unlucky there to get that sort of roll. But that's the 2-0 lead for Harris and Jono, I guess. Strong start.
That's right.
Got away with it a little bit at the end there. That 8-ball, I feel like, definitely shouldn't be missed by Jono. But pressure does a lot of interesting things to people.
Yeah. So as I was saying, so Harris won the most recent 8-ball competition.
Sorry, yes, of course. Yeah.
And Jonathan actually was a runner-up to a 9-ball competition last year.
He was.
He played against Ka Weng.
That's right. Yeah.
So he has experience on this stage before.
Mm-hmm.
Phuc and Raycole have both reached the Scotch doubles final last year.
Have they?
Yeah.
They have.
Played
I remember.
against Legend and Matt Mack.
That's right. They have. I wasn't there that day, I think.
So all these guys definitely have finals experience. And Raycole specifically, he's actually been in 8 finals.
Oh, wow.
So this will be his 9th.
And he has not won any of them.
He's won. This is including.
So
league.
that was a question, by the way.
So this is
that wasn't like, ooh, you know, like.
So this would be including league.
Yeah.
So he's won 1 league and he's won into uni. So his league team at the time was with Richard Zheng and Kyle Toff.
Oh, I did not know that. I think I wasn't in
that's,
CueSoc back
that's
then.
all the way back in season 2.
Right.
Yeah.
How far CueSoc has come.
And I think at that stage, Raycole was actually the 3rd player on that team. So his 2 teammates were quote unquote better than him.
Yeah.
But obviously, Raycole's got more success in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gotten into uni win as well last year.
He did. That's right.
Playing on UNSW A team.
He has.
And
That was a great day. I remember watching. That was a really good day. Finals match, even though it wasn't like final match.
yeah.
I remember our other CueSoc boy, Navin Niranjan.
Yes.
He's made plenty of appearances in our commentary before, but he made a great cut on the 8-ball against, I think it was Ben Siriprayol, who was in the 8-ball finals last year against who won actually.
Who won the competition before Harris?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The 8-ball comp before Harris. Yeah.
Yeah, against Kevin Alexander. It's on the battery.
Sorry guys, there's a bit of a problem with the camera right now, so we'll just get that checked out. Will's just gone off to do that. We don't want to just record for you and not have a video for you, right? So, okay. Meanwhile, moving on. Bit of nerves showing from here. I think both Phuc and Jonathan made some very similar. Like just then, Phuc missed a very similar shot to what Jonathan missed in the previous visit, and I think both teams can definitely play better than this. They're giving each other a lot of visits every single frame. So you know, it's definitely probably the nerves of being in the finals. The day getting longer and longer because they have been playing this comp for the whole day. But yeah. Good shot from Jono there. Now, as we can see, the 1-ball is actually blocking the pocket fully for both the 15 and the 8. So a really, really, really important shot here. Unless they can see it. It seems like Harris is playing for... Ooh. I was about to say, it seems like Harris is playing for the 15 in that pocket, but I think he was a little careless there.
So it was very difficult he would have to put backspin on the cue ball to follow the 15 ball into the 1, so he'll pop both the 15 and the 1 into that pocket. But now he's also snookered himself, so it's definitely a very difficult shot for Jonathan.
I was surprised Harris went that way. The angle that he had on the 11 was actually very nice for him to potentially go short side, so on the other side of 15 instead of where the cue ball is right now. Yeah, no, very hard shot there. Very hard little jump shot that unfortunately did not work out.
And then, so now let's see if Raycole and Phuc can capitalize on this opportunity to get their first frame on the board.
Seems like they can, but the only little problem is that it's actually a lot harder to get on the 8-ball from if we use the 1-ball.
Yeah.
So pattern play here, which balls to go first is very, very important here.
That's true. I think if you wanted to play sort of a 2-way pattern play, you want to leave the 1 last because
that's right.
it also blocks the 15 into that pocket.
Exactly, yeah, just in case you miss.
I think typically you wouldn't want to leave the 1 as your key ball.
Yeah.
But they might have to if they aren't the most confident playing the entire rack. Because in all likelihood, if they don't run it out, Harris and Jonathan will get their 3rd frame.
Yeah. It's really interesting, actually, what pressure can do to people.
Yeah.
Because normally in this circumstance, if I'm just mucking around with my mates or I'm just having like a casual race, which doesn't really mean much, you know, I would 100% go for the 1 first.
Yeah.
Right? And just be confident in the fact that I will be able to clear very, very easily. But, oh, what a shot.
Very,
wow.
very good shot.
See, those are the type of shots that require really delicate touch because the one ball is guaranteed in as soon as you hit it.
Yeah.
But depending on where you hit in the one ball, your cue ball path could change a lot. Again, going right back to what I was saying just then, very, very interesting what pressure can do to people, and that's exactly one example. If I put Phuc on the table right now if I put Phuc on the table right now after this, you can probably make that shot 8 out of 10 times, easily.
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe 9, maybe 10 out of 10 times. Give him 100 tries, maybe he can make over 90.
Yeah.
Right? But it's alright, he got away with it. Mainly because it was a pretty tough leave on the 15 ball for Harris to go into the side pocket, and fair enough that he missed that. So.
Yeah.
Alright, while Raycole racks up here, we would like again to mention and thank our sponsors.
Yep. So we've got City Heroes. We'd like to give a huge thanks to Walter, the owner of City Heroes, for letting us use the tables in his pool hall.
100%.
Yep. And as most of you should know, CueSoc, all CueSoc members get a 5% discount at his pool hall, and they do a lot of the work for our society, and we're very grateful to have them as a sponsor. Also, we have Mikarin, an Asian fusion restaurant in World Square, and to be announced, but we also have coming up some plans for the new City Heroes opening up in Burwood.
That's right, we do.
So
very exciting stuff there.
So Walter is expanding his business to Burwood in Emerald Square, which is very close to the station, so it's not too inconvenient to get there. And he will also own a bowling alley next door as well. So
really, I did
running,
not know that. That is very, very cool.
Once that's up and running, which should be towards the end of this year, CueSoc members will also get a 5% discount there as well. So a lot of exciting stuff happening at the end of this, towards the end of this year. So yeah, and of course we'll have all our announcements on our CueSport Society page. So make sure you have liked the page and join the CueSport Society group as well to stay up to date with all the details.
Wow, that's very exciting stuff. I actually didn't know that. There was also a bowling alley there.
Yeah.
Which would be very cool. You know, if you get tired of playing pool, you can go and play some bowling. I remember last time we went bowling, we had plenty of fun. That was great.
It was heaps of fun.
I think that was what got me into it. I think I'm not really into bowling, but it's definitely something that's very, very cool. But yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the news right now. This frame we had Phuc and Raycole breaking off. They've elected to choose a solid, and the shot Raycole played just then was a bit unlucky because he was trying to maneuver the cue ball into the 1 and 15. 1 and 15, but the 1 and 15 are still tied up, so the one ball is still something that they need to be fixed.
And that shot, he's landed perfectly on the 2 shot.
Yeah, that's right. 2 ball is another ball that they need to fix up, but yeah, no, really nice position that Phuc has left Raycole here. So
a bit short on his stroke. I think he would have wanted it very straight for the 7.
Yeah, 100%.
Making this shot much more difficult than it needed to be.
Yeah. Yep, and
forced to miss there.
Yeah, fair enough.
But not straightforward for Harris and Jono either.
Not at all.
So this rack definitely needs some figuring out.
100%.
This is why this communication is so important.
Mm-hmm. As you can see there, Harris kind of telling Jono where he wants the cue ball for the next shot, just so both of them are on the same page. And I'm sure, and I think Harris, oh, what a shot. That's great. Confident stroke and really nice angle. I think it's very close to what Harris wanted. So Harris will be trying to run into the 15 ball here. Shot. What a shot. But has it blocked up the 14? I think it might have. Actually, they're checking for it now.
I don't think it passes.
No?
They'll probably have to play the 14 on the short side to the opposite corner.
I mean, it looks like it. I think Harris is telling Jono to roll it forward so he can have the right angle for the 12 next.
Oh, it does go. Okay.
Yeah. Ooh. He might have had like 3/4 of a pocket or something.
Yeah.
I think it might have been slightly blocking it.
Yeah.
Alright,
I think it's safe to say that if he could see the entire pocket, he would not have missed that shot.
Yeah, 100%. And here's what we were talking about again just then, Will, like how important the first shot is.
Yeah.
Here, I think Raycole's landed for pretty plump on the 5. Ooh. But a bit unlucky there.
So Raycole's going to go for the bank shot here, but he's going to find it very difficult to land on the 1 after the shot.
If I were him, I would try to bank it into the corner pocket where he's at. Because the cue ball, a reverse bank, that's right. Because the cue ball will go down to the 1.
Yeah.
And then also, if he can leave his cue ball anywhere near the bottom rail, Harris and Jonathan don't really have a shot.
That's true.
So it's a very, very good two-way, and I think it's a very good risk assessment.
Yeah.
But depends on what they think. Speaking of banks, Phuc is actually a very, very good banker. He's very good at doubles or banks or whatever you want to call it. I see him do it a lot. I see him make ridiculous banks, like just during practice just then as well. So
yeah, this is definitely a very critical part of the match. If they make the wrong decision here, Harris and Jonathan can potentially go up 3-1. And in a short race to 5, that could definitely make the difference.
yeah, no, it's a huge lead because it's the difference between 2-0 and 3-1, right?
Yeah.
Like you're either 2 frames down or you're tied up, and the game's, and the game can swing either way.
Yeah.
Has the Scotch doubles always been a race to 5 in the finals as well?
I think in the past we had a race to 7. However, our competitions have been running over time, almost always. So we try to decide to decrease it to a race to 5, just so that the competition moves forward more easily.
Right. So what happened there was I think Raycole was trying to make the cue ball move a lot. But from the angle he had, I think he wouldn't have gotten position, to be honest. He would have gotten the bank and not gotten position, or he would have gotten position like he did just then. He was a bit unlucky on the scratch, but the cue ball did move down there.
Yeah. I think
he would have either made.
He didn't hit the object ball in the right spot.
Yeah, not at all. I think he was focused too much on where the cue ball would land.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, everyone, is a good tip. Even I was talking to. Funnily enough, he was. I think he was Sweden #1. Oh, what a shot there! I think it was Sweden #1 or something. He came to Sydney for a holiday and he came down to have a hit. And I managed to have a chat with him, and he was telling me that he was having a game with one of the best players that City Heroes here, and even then he was telling,
So that's a huge. That's a very, very, very unfortunate mistake.
Yeah, again, the swing between 2-0 and 3-1. Really, really lucky break there
Yeah.
for Raycole and Phuc, but then before we know it, they're right back into it.
Got out of jail there.
Yeah, and but yeah, no, as I was saying, just following on with that bank that he had last frame, it's actually so the Swedish #1 player, he was telling one of the best players in City Heroes here, his name is Long, very, very strong Vietnamese player here, that sometimes even Long made too much of an effort on trying to get perfect position
Yeah.
and trying to put the cue ball into a really nice place.
Yeah.
And then from there, made the pot a lot harder than it should be.
Yes.
And there's a bit of advice to everyone.
Yeah.
Often make sure you get the pot first before you think about the position.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you would. Sorry, go on.
And that's something that a lot of beginner towards intermediate players definitely struggle with.
That's right.
Because even though that they learn more and more about the game, they understand how to play and what shots to take
Yeah, and how to position
and
as
how
well.
to position as well.
Yeah.
They kind of lose sight of the fact that the pot has to go in
Yeah, that's right.
for that as well.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, especially, it's definitely prevalent in our society. It's definitely a compromise between the two.
Yeah.
It's how good you want your position to be versus how sure of the pot you want to make it.
That's right, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And really interesting there. Like what the bloke was saying. I wish I remember his name, but and what he was saying was just that sometimes you'd rather just leave a lot harder of a pot
Yep.
for your next shot, but really just guarantee the ball in.
Yeah.
And then at least you'll stay on the table and
Yeah.
be in control of the table. And worst comes worst, if you don't have a next shot, at least you're in control of the table to potentially play a safety to limit the options that your opponent has.
Yeah. Which is why a lot of our newer players who don't really know how to position as well, perform very well because all they do is just focus on making the ball.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they get lucky with position, sometimes they don't. But if all they're thinking about is making the ball, then they have a much better chance of doing so.
That's right.
And they perform very well in these competitions because a lot of the times some people try to play a bit too fancy, I would say, and they miss the pot, a very easy pot for that.
100%.
At that point.
100%. And I've been guilty of that many, many times.
Exactly, and especially when you consider that these are very short races in comparison, it's very easy to get upset in this competition.
Yeah. 100%.
I think that also leads on, that also follows over to the fact that you really need to understand how your partner plays.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if you're always trying to do the most on your shot to give your partner an easier shot, because I know as part of a team, you never want to be the person who lets the team down.
Exactly.
You want to give your partner the best position possible.
That's right.
But that sometimes compromises your potting ability as well.
Yeah.
So it's all about experience and how well you play with your partner. For
Yeah.
example, if you know your partner can pretty much pot anything but isn't going to give you much position, then maybe that's what you need to do when you're playing with them. You might have to adopt a completely different style of play in order for you guys to achieve the best results.
100%. Yeah, no, I've been guilty of that. I think I still am.
Everyone has.
I think I still am. There are very, very few people who I can play doubles with and not feel the pressure of not wanting to let my teammate down.
Yeah.
Most of the time when I play doubles, no matter, especially if I'm playing with a better player, the pressure is definitely there, and I end up tensing up. I end up, not playing a shot confidently, and then missing a lot more than I should.
Yeah, and in hindsight, you know that I should just went for the pot and just given them a much
Yeah,
different
that's right.
pot.
That's right.
Because
100%.
as long as you're on the table, you're still on the table and you have a chance to win.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're not at the table, then you can't win if you're not at the table.
Yeah.
So of course, unless if you scratched on the black, like the previous frame. But that's very far and few between. So.
Yeah. You're not saying that I always want to get going, but nobody really likes that idea. But
What is it?
I don't know. I didn't say that very well.
Table finish, like only one or
Sorry, as I was saying, guys, while Will is a bit busy doing CueSoc stuff, something that I really like to, maybe I'll describe it when Will comes back, to be honest. But anyway, hope everyone's doing well. Really nice safety here. Easy safety as well. Phuc and Raycole had a lot of balls on the table because of a really good run by Harris and Jonathan from just then. So they have the option of being either aggressive or passive. But yeah, sorry, Will, as I was saying, what's something that I always mention to my mates, but they always, don't agree with, is sometimes, more often than not, I actually come into a situation where if you look at the balls on the table, it's a 9-ball rack. And I tell my mates, I'm like, if we ever get into a situation where the table looks like a 9-ball or a 10-ball rack, can we just play 9-ball and 10-ball for that frame? Like for example, if this was me right now, I have the biggest urge to start from the 1 and then just run all the way to the 9. Well, at least try to, but
It does simplify your pattern play. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah. But it's just something funny that I kind of always want to get going, but everyone just thinks I'm an idiot. So, which is fair enough. I mean, you're playing 8-ball. Like, why would you switch to 9-ball and 10-ball for one frame?
It's one of those situations where you walk up to the table and you don't know what game they're playing.
yeah, exactly. But anyway, moving back to that, the safety by Phuc definitely. We're still recording. The safety by Phuc definitely worked, even though Jonathan managed to hit that 9-ball. He ended up scratching just because of the nature of how the balls are laid out. So.
Raycole. I'm up.
Ooh, a little bump there. I think they're okay. No.
I don't think this
the
goes.
2-ball doesn't go. The 1-ball does go, but I think Phuc's position was literally like 1 ball short. So very unfortunate there. Really interesting what Phuc said just then. If you're not confident, just go for the safety. That is something that everyone should adopt. One of the better players in CueSoc, who commentated with me for 9-ball, Tim. He's actually very, very good at safeties. Whenever he has a remotely hard shot that could cost him the frame, he will play a safety straight away. And
I think that's a very mature way to
100%,
approach it, because
100%.
you're not gonna run out every single time.
Exactly.
So to be able to play safety is a huge part of the game.
Yeah, and to be able to kind of relent that control back to your opponent, but just kind of playing your percentages.
Yeah.
That's something that's that everyone often forgets about.
Yeah.
Especially in doubles as well. Like, I'll always forget, and then after I play maybe a high risk shot or a low percentage shot, my partner will be like, "Why didn't you just play a safety?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, true," right? But it's something that everyone can also kind of take note of.
I think it's to do with believing that you can make the pot in the first place, whereas you're somewhat optimistic about making the pot.
Yeah, optimistic. That's right. That's a really good way of describing it.
Yeah. And I think if you just play the percentages, you would end up coming out in a much better situation.
Oh. Again, down the same rail, down the same right long rail, but really lucky by Phuc there that he managed to hit the right part of the pocket and the 7-ball bounced up towards the top of the screen instead of towards the left, which it has a very good chance to, because if it did bounce the other way, I would definitely say that Jono would have this 8-ball into the pocket right now, but instead it'll be interesting to see what he plays here. Oh,
Unlucky.
he definitely didn't want to pop the 7-ball here,
Yeah.
but before we know it, all of a sudden Raycole and Phuc are in the lead after being 2-0 down.
Yeah.
So
just like that, it swings against their favor, and now Phuc and Raycole are breaking to get onto the hill.
yeah, really, I wouldn't say unfortunate, but just I guess it is unfortunate in the way of how rolls go,
Yeah.
where Harris got that unlucky bump on the 8 ball 2 frames ago to scratch
Yeah.
and therefore lose the frame.
It's just how the game goes sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. And Jono, he could have hit any other part of the 7 ball, and I think his safety would have been great. Because as long as the 7 ball didn't pop.
I think it goes back to Harris playing percentages. I think Harris knew that there was a possibility of him scratching on that 8 ball a couple frames back, but he played the percentages thinking that it probably won't happen.
Yeah, that's right. Because it'll probably hit a ball.
Yeah.
Or the chances of it going in is really, really low.
I think to think about it, he maybe thought that if he had that shot again and he tried to do that, he tried to scratch on that shot, he'd find it very difficult to do so.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
him scratching on that, it is very unlucky, but it is a game of percentages.
100%. Yeah, like I hear snooker commentators often say this, very similar concept to what you were saying, but they often say, like, if you had to play that shot another 100 times, you probably wouldn't have gotten the same result.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was very similar to what kind of Harris had, which is very unlucky. But, it's what it's, as I would like to say. Have you ever heard anyone else say it's what it's?
I haven't actually.
I don't know, I was walking on the street one day and I just came up with it. Because you can always abbreviate it is into it's, right? I mean, we do that in everyday speech. So, you guys are more than welcome to use it's what it's in your everyday life. Just a side note.
Okay.
Glanden the trendsetter. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Glanden.
No worries, bro. Got you.
So a lot of tied up balls in this rack.
Yeah. 6 ball's a big problem.
Yeah. I guess it could be solved if you had ball in hand. You could shoot it down into the corner.
Wow, what a shot there. He made 2 balls, none of which he caught, unfortunately. But that's nice. Giving Jono a position where the cue ball's nice and close to the object ball, which obviously makes the putt considerably easier. And yeah, let's see where they go from there.
I think definitely you could say that the best position for the cue ball is fairly close with an angle.
Yeah,
that's definitely where you want all your balls.
That's right.
To be positioned.
Really creative way of playing this by Harris. Harris suggested that Jono played the ball on that side so he can pop the he can hit the 12 into the 6-10. Now the 6 and the 10 near the right side pocket, that's what we say, it's just wired. Because as soon as the 6 ball moves, the 10 ball will go towards the pocket.
I think the issue with hitting the 12 into the 6-10 is that you're not too sure about where the 12 is going to be. But if he's confident enough to play the carom off the 12, then the 12 is always going to go across towards the corner pocket.
Yeah.
But then it makes hitting the 6-10 much more difficult.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a stylistic preference.
Jono and Harris are just debating here because I think Jono just suggested the carom, and Harris had a little bit of a revelation, like, wow, why didn't I think of that? But there we go. Ooh, again, one of those things where the roll just doesn't go your way.
That's right.
Like, if he hit any other part of that 6 ball, that cue ball wouldn't have gone in.
That's entirely correct.
Yeah.
Very, very unlucky.
Yeah, 100%.
I think they're planning on comboing the 4 into the cluster at the top corner.
Yeah, I think they'll probably want to call the 1.
I feel like the 1 goes straight from the 3, so I don't think, if it were me, I probably wouldn't play it like this.
Ooh,
Almost
foul.
Almost an accidental foul there.
Yeah.
I think if it were me, I'd find it a little bit difficult going up and down the table with this decision. So I would clean up the bottom 2 balls first,
Right.
and play, and then come back up for the top.
Right. I actually, honestly, for me, I actually quite like the idea of 4 into the 3 and 1, because the 1 is basically wide, right?
Yeah.
And I actually really like the idea of playing the 4 and drawing the cue ball back down to the bottom of the table.
He's missed it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wow. I was about to say, I would really like the idea of drawing the cue ball back down to the bottom of the table, so I'll be guaranteed to have a shot on either the 4 or the 7, while the top half of the table, they can just spread out however they like, and I can go from there.
I think the issue with that is that you're not sure where the 3 is going to land after you pot the 1.
Yeah.
It might get tied up with a 12, and I think that was why Phuc hit it so hard. Resulting in him missing the 1, but the 12 is nowhere near the 3 anymore.
Yeah.
And all their balls are pretty much open.
Yeah. But again, stylistic preferences.
Yeah.
Styles, kind of the way you think about the table.
Not a straightforward shot here.
Yeah, no, Jono had to hit the very, very, I guess, up from the screen, the very right side of the 13
Yeah.
to have any chance of putting that 14 ball combo. But I think this is a really good chance for
It is.
Phuc and Ray.
It is.
Ooh.
The
I
issue-
personally wouldn't have played that way, but it
The
worked
issue
out.
with balls in the pocket, they're pretty much guaranteed the pot, but
Yeah.
it's actually much more difficult to position off them.
Yeah,
than you would think.
100%. 100%. That's right. I think, that's what we were talking about that 1 ball a few friends ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because you can hit. Oh, I think you were checking the camera. That's why you didn't hear me say this. But yeah, the ball can pocket. Wow, what a shot! The ball is guaranteed to pot, but if you hit a centimeter too much to the right or left of a ball over the pocket, it could change the trajectory of the cue ball completely. So
So he's ran into the short side of the 13, so it hits the 6 as well. So it doesn't give him a good angle from the pot it.
yeah, I don't know if
I
this
think
even pots.
I think it does, but it's a very, very touchy shot.
Yeah.
I think Phuc played it so that he would hit the 13, but he hit the wrong side of the 13,
Yeah.
resulting in
Oh, what a
that's a
shot!
very good shot. He's going to leave him very long on the 8, but
But at least you have a shot,
at least he had a
right?
shot. Exactly,
Yeah.
right? If he'd missed that shot, then I think Harris and Jono would be in the driver's seat and be in a very good position for this frame. But
That's right.
at least now Phuc's got an opportunity to make the shot and
Yeah.
win the frame.
Yeah. How would you play the shot, Will?
You're almost guaranteed to give your opponent a shot, no matter where you leave the cue ball. So I think just focus, just give yourself the best chance to pot it. So I think I would play top and just try to roll the ball in.
Funnily enough, we couldn't see the angle clearly, but I'm pretty sure that was a scratch angle. If Phuc had actually potted that 8 ball with top, the cue ball would have gone in. Like, there was a very, very good chance the cue ball would have gone in.
Isn't it? That's very likely as well. But I think sometimes you just have to compromise in terms of, because the table isn't perfect, you can get table roll occasionally as well. So if you were to just roll it in really softly, your angle, your cue ball might veer off to the side, or the object ball might veer off to the side while it's on its path.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it's just, that's what makes a shot so much more difficult.
Yeah, because the tables here, they're obviously open out to the public. This isn't our private little CueSoc hall or something. So over here at City Heroes, the tables are definitely worn. They're definitely being used a lot, so they're nowhere near perfect condition.
That's right.
I shot the tied up 3-3.
That's right. So this finals has been reduced to a race to 2.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and I think Harris and Jonathan have the advantage because they do get the break. And if Harris gets a good break in, I think they'd be in a very good position for the rest of the match.
Yeah. The break is very, very important.
Definitely.
Very, very important and very advantageous.
Especially when you get to an intermediate skill level, whereas everyone can pretty much pot an open ball. Anyone playing in the finals can pretty much pot an open ball. So it's very important to get to that open ball. So you want your cue ball control and the spread of your break to be very good. But then conversely, if you get good cue ball control and good spread on your break, and you don't get pot a ball, you hand over the very good position to your opponents.
Yeah.
Which happens quite a lot if that's what in professional play as well.
Yeah. A lot of players, they think that the break isn't that great or that much of an advantage, mainly because of, they'll be like, oh, I can't run the whole table out anyway. Because I've heard people say that before.
No, I think the thing is, the reason why people can't run tables frequently is because they don't get a good break down. Because if you're breaking soft and all the balls are clustered together, there's very few people who can clear that table. Whereas if you break and all the balls were equally spread apart, there's almost anyone above like an intermediate skill level can run out the table. 100%.
And just to add to that, like sometimes even if you don't run out straight away, if you pot a few balls, if you pot say a string of 4 or 5 balls and you miss position and you give the table to your opponent, it gives your opponent a lot of pressure, because if they run 1 or 2 and miss, all of a sudden all you have to clear is 3 balls on the table, for example 2 of your object balls.
That's
and
right.
And then the 8 ball left, right?
That's right.
So oh wow.
That's very fortunate.
So somehow Phuc didn't foul there. He was going for the rail first for the 5 ball, but bit not just a little, really lucky from Phuc there, but it is definitely part of the game. It is what it is.
Very nice shot. I think Harris had about half a pocket there, so very good aiming. So a lot of the balls are clustered together at the bottom half of the table, so there's a lot less room to work with on this frame. But I think if they take it one shot at a time, it should open up a lot more. It's very important to know what your partner, what kind of shots your partner is good at.
Yeah, 100%.
Hasn't left him too much there. I think the 11
Yeah,
he has about half a pocket for the 11.
Is he?
Yeah, to shoot.
As I was about to say, I'm not a huge fan of that shot, to be honest. It's already hard enough to pot in one pocket, to be honest, let alone half a pocket. So, but very, very decent effort by Harris right there.
But like you said, it's a lot of pressure on Raycole and Phuc now.
Yeah.
Because the 11's in the pocket and the 3 remaining balls for Harris and Jono are pretty open.
Yeah, Raycole trying to force that 3 ball in there. It's always very hard to force a ball into the side pocket, just in general, unless you're dead on.
Yeah.
As in, unless the object ball is somewhat close, or like a long. Yeah, just unless you have a lot of the pocket, because otherwise, if your object ball is anywhere not anywhere near like the center of the table, it becomes incredibly hard to pot into the side, because you just have a side wall from the pocket.
Yeah. the pocket's actually a lot smaller than it looks because one of the corners overlaps into the pocket, so because it is a square pocket,
Yeah.
it blocks a little bit of the pocket, so you actually have to aim towards the far corner
Yeah,
of the pocket.
that's a little tip for you guys as well.
It's a bit misleading because when you're looking at the pocket, you a lot of the times you would just look at the bottom of the pocket.
Yeah, the back of the pocket. That's right. Yeah.
And a lot of the time that's not going to allow you to pot the ball because the edge of the pocket's in the way.
Yeah, that's right, 100%. And I think everyone has gone through that stage at the beginning where they had no idea how to pot into the side pocket.
Yeah.
Because everyone looks at the back, they don't look at the side wall.
That also goes. That also holds true for the corner pockets as well. If you're aiming down the rail, you should always aim towards the opposite. See how that ball cheated in just there?
Yeah.
It's always going to cheat in on that side of the pocket. But if you hit the closer side, if you aim towards the back of the pocket from this rail, you're not going to make it because you're just going to hit straight into the rail.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm not sure if this 5 ball passes the 11, but he might be able to cheat it in or just get a friendly kiss off it. It's very unfortunate.
I feel like
He tried to do too much with the cue ball there. So that's
I honestly feel like that wasn't the right shot to play though. I feel like if you take on slightly harder of a pot on the 7 ball, you could come out into the middle of the table for the 1 ball that he just missed.
Yeah.
And have a better angle to try and like disturb the corner where the 5 and 11 are.
Yeah. So I think Harris has given Jono an angle on the 9 because he wants to come back to the long rail, I would guess, for the shot. So he can just play 2 rail safe position onto the 8.
Well, it looks like Harris and Jono are just blocking pockets left, right, and center. That 5 ball literally cannot go anywhere now. Unless they're somehow able to maneuver it with the cue ball whilst potting another shot.
I think they'll have to attempt to pot the 5 into the pocket where the 11 is in front of. Because I think the 7 ball pots with the 9, actually. If you hit it in the sweet spot, the 7 and 9 will both fall at the same time. But the 5 it's not the case for the 5. They'll have to maneuver. It's a very touchy shot.
Oh, what a shot. Wow, that was a great shot. Really, really good shot.
I think he's left him snookered on the 9 as well.
They can definitely go rail first here, but
Yeah.
I don't see how after the pot they can do anything with the 11.
Yeah, because even if they go rail first, the ball's going to have too much speed, and it's going to go up and give them a very difficult shot. Another alternative is you can cut the 11 into the 9, but that makes the shot much more difficult.
Or you can carry them into the 9 with your cue ball. Yeah,
It's
I
very
would go
difficult.
for.
You need to play a lot of English on the shot. But
I would go for a bank on the 11 right now.
the
actually.
bank on the 11.
Yeah, exactly what Harris called.
Yeah.
Because if you bank it, because there's practically no way to leave it safe. The only ball that's safe is a 7 ball. So if you go for the bank right now,
That's actually a very good shot.
it is.
Now,
I think I would have played it a different way, but I think Harris played that even better.
Yeah.
He potted that 5 ball. I think that was his main purpose, to pot that 5 ball off the 11
Yeah.
and leave the ball down here, because if he left it down here, there's practically, it'll be a very, very difficult shot for Raycole and Phuc to kind of run out from.
I think at this position, you could actually play a safety onto the 1 and just leave the cue ball really close to the 11.
Yes. Yes. But I think they're going for the 7-9, which is fair enough. I mean, like, eventually, sooner or later, you got to get rid of that.
I think this works as well because if you pot the 9 ball, they're not going to have a good shot on the...
Oh! He played that too hard. He played that way too hard. Very unlucky because he had that line there.
I think if it were me, I would have caught safe on that shot. But good thing it didn't because
The 9 ball
the 9 ball,
stopped.
the
Yeah.
9 ball didn't drop.
Yeah.
But I definitely would have tried to pot the 9 and core save because you're not going to do too much with this 11 up to the 1 ball.
100%.
Because now they're pretty much full ball snooking, so they'll have to go rail first.
Yeah. The only safety I can see here is like a slow roll, kick up to the top of the table and just touch the 1.
Ooh.
But that's very, very touchy. Like you said just then with the table roll and everything.
Yeah. And this is, once again, every frame is very critical in this short race to 5.
Yeah, this is the one to get on the hill.
Yeah. So, understandably, they're definitely taking their time with the shot. But I think I'd be pretty satisfied. I'd be pretty happy if I was in Harrison Jonathan's shoes right now.
I would be too, because I don't see any solution right here. Like, the 9 is guaranteed going to go somewhere. And legit, there's only one safety that I see. That's it.
And a very difficult one at that.
Yeah,
So.
or you can just hit it harder and just try and put the 1 down here in the corner. So it's the aggressive. But regardless, you're going to have to kick at this 1 ball.
Yes.
Oh well, no, you had to kick it, right?
I think regardless, even if he does see this 1 ball, he's going to leave a shot on the 9. Or the 11 for that matter.
That's why I
Because
say if
if you just clip the 1, it will free up the 11. So
No, but I think if you slow roll it off the rail and just tap the 1 to not foul, and you can leave that cue ball behind the 11, then that's something as well. But it's very,
if
very
you
risky.
hit the rail first,
Oh!
I was gonna say if you hit the rail first and you just clip it, it might be a foul as well because you wouldn't have rail after contact.
Good try, good try.
Really good attempt by Phuc there, though.
It was.
That was really, really close.
So I can't believe the 9 didn't go in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if the 9 fell in that shot, it would have been a very straightforward safety.
That's right.
But now they don't really have an option, so they had to go for that shot. But and now this is actually a much more difficult shot than it looks because
It's the exact same thing, like the ball in the pocket, but if you hit it just a little bit off, it could change the path of the cue ball completely.
yeah.
I would be tempted to try and hit as much to the right side of the cue ball as possible. Yep, so exactly like that. Except I would try to just leave the 8 ball down to the top left corner, as you guys can see on the screen. Shots.
So Harris and Jonathan are the first ones on the hill, and now Raycole and Phuc will have to win 2 frames in a row if they want to take out this title. So a lot of unfortunate rolls both ways in this match already.
Yeah, definitely, but
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day it evens out, and I think the players who play better will always win.
yeah. Good break.
It was a very good break. For the 12 and the 5 look like to be the only problem if you're solid.
I mean, if you're either, to be honest. But I mean, definitely solids is the way to go. Because you have that 13 ball up on the top right here, where it's very hard to get pop that. It's very hard to get that down, I think, anyway. Okay, so Harris and John are deciding to work this part of the table. I think that's a good enough clip. I think the 5 goes now. Or if not, I was about to say the 4 ball is very easy access for Harris and Jono to
Yeah.
kind of try and break that 5 ball out.
Yeah. Because when you're breaking out balls, you want to use the ball that's closest to it.
100%.
So the cue ball travels the fewest amount of distance
100%.
to break it out. Because then it's much more predictable about where your balls are going to end up.
Yeah.
So I think Harris and Jonathan, they played together well enough to know that they'd rather distribute the weight of each shot as opposed to having a really tough shot and position. So I think it's been working very well for them, this competition, and they look to be in a very good position.
Yeah, and there's a thing that some of us here at CueSoc say, which is we just, especially when we're playing doubles, we just go JP, JP. And I don't really know why we abbreviated it, but it just stands for just pot. And sometimes that's the mentality that you just need.
Yeah.
Right? Stay in control of the table, and the main point is to pot balls, right?
Or
I think Harris didn't have a lot of angle to work with, and I think he really tried to force that.
I think his stroke got away from him there. He kind of short stroked it a little bit and stunned the ball too much as opposed to...
You reckon he was trying to draw it?
I think he was trying to draw it a little bit.
Okay.
And has landed very awkwardly.
Yeah, a little unfortunate here because I mean that was a break and run for one.
Yeah, and on the hill at that.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's okay.
I don't think you could have asked for much from that position. I think it's a good enough effort to have Raycole and Phuc pretty nervous playing the shot.
Yeah.
I think after being in, this will be his 9th final. Raycole is really wants to win an individual competition. Well, this one isn't. Would this even be considered an individual competition?
No, not really.
Because he's won league and into uni prior to this, and this would be his first doubles competition that he would win. But he has actually been in the final for snooker, I think, 4 times.
Really?
Yeah. So he's definitely been on a stage all alone in the final and just hasn't converted. I think they're definitely thinking of playing a 2-way pattern here because it's not the easiest shot to... It's not the easiest series of shots to play in this pattern. So I think they're just trying to make it as difficult as they can for Harris and Jonathan.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Oh, that was a really good effort.
It's a good effort.
I think Raycole was trying to stick it to the 8.
Yes. I think the 5 is available.
That's actually a very 9-ball, 10-ball-esque safety.
Yep, definitely.
They love sticking the cue ball to another ball.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a very difficult shot for Harris. Sure, the pot goes in.
The pot is easy, but
but
you don't know where the cue ball's going. Yeah.
Very difficult to land shape on the 3, considering it only goes in one pocket.
Yeah, no,
as
and
a
he's
result,
snookered.
He's snookered on this shot. It's not an easy kick as well because there's a lot of traffic. So I think Jonathan is going to go for the jump cue here. And I think he just wants to land close to one of the corner pockets. effort. Jonathan, very good effort with the jump. Cleared the ball, but didn't get the pot, and is landed in a very awkward position. Such
Wow,
that,
what a pot.
Such that Raycole and Phuc, even if they miss a shot, it's very likely they'll get safe after a miss.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's just salt to the wound.
But I mean, look, at least they're leading.
That's true. That's true. They have the comfort of the lead, but they don't want to get into a situation where it's one frame for all the marbles.
Yeah.
Narrowly misses the kick there, but this does put a lot of pressure on Raycole and Phuc to run out this shot. It's only 5 balls, but they're all over the place, so it's not the easiest to go all around the table. I definitely believe that it's a lot easier if all the balls are localized in one area of the table, because you don't have to play long positional shots, and as a result have less margin for error. So Phuc starting on the 14 and going to make his way up.
Oh, so he's left a long pot on the 15 for...
So he does have a little bit of an angle on the 15, and I think he wants to land on the 12 after this shot.
Oh, and they've left the shot.
And this is a very good opportunity.
I think this is where they close it out.
Yes, it's very likely, but anything can happen in these pressure situations.
I think just a little roll, leave Harris slightly harder of a cut, but I think Harris is very favoured to make this.
One shot.
That's the most you could do.
This is for the title.
Hey!
That'll do it. So your winners for the 2019 Trimester 2 Scotch Doubles 8-ball competition are Harris and Jonathan.
Right. Congratulations to Harris and Jono.
Yeah. So stay tuned for our future events.
Yeah.
We have Inter-Uni just around the corner, actually, which is a very exciting event.
And I think Harris won 2 titles in a row, didn't he?
Yes, he did, actually.
The last one was 8-ball singles and he won that as well.
Yep, so he's definitely in form.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll have to qualify for the Inter-Uni.
Inter-Uni, yeah.
But then I feel like USYD will have a very strong team. Because
I feel
Harris
like
is
too.
definitely in form.
I feel like too.
All right.
Alright, well, peace out, guys. We'll catch you guys in the next video.
Thanks for watching.